Hello, everybody, and welcome to another iconic episode of A Good Lawyer podcast, part of the EIL network, Excellence in Lawyering. I am Stephen Garcia, your non lawyer, coast to coast opinion host. And this is where I delve into the captivating world of brilliant legal minds, such as with our two guests today, in hopes of enriching yours. Folks, what can I say about these two just wonderful individuals, Kirsten CARABIN and David A. TIJERINA? Uh, both just at the top of their game, relentless in seeking justice for their clients. I just can't say enough about them. I'm just so glad that they are sharing their time again with us here on the podcast. And we are honored to welcome back to the podcast Kirsten CARABIN and David A. TIJERINA. Kirsten and David,
Yeah.
welcome back to A Good Lawyer.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Great
We
to be
love
back.
this.
Well, listen, so much has happened since the last time we've talked. And I guess we'll just jump right on into it. I know locally we're dealing with a lot of just really crazy weather, but we'll leave it at that. But listen, aside from all of that, there's constantly talk about billboards, 18 wheelers, television ads, constant. And I don't think you can go at least a half an hour without seeing them. Do you ever see, if I'm asking Kirsten, you and David, a time in the very near future where lawyers such as yourselves and your colleagues are going to be going after the trucking schools for these accidents that are occurring that sometimes, unfortunately and horrifically, take the lives of family members, loved ones. Do you foresee a day in the very near future where the trucking schools that are supposedly teaching these folks how to drive and licensing them, so to speak, will they ever be held accountable?
Hope so. Absolutely hope so. I think that they should. So we're already holding accountable the actual employer. The
Mhm.
employer has a series of federal regulations that they have to go through before they're allowed to hire the driver. So why wouldn't you take it one step further? That if that trucking school did not properly educate that driver in the rules of the road, federal and state, why shouldn't they be held accountable? The reason that this is all super important is we are entrusting, as I love to call it, a weapon on wheels to an individual that is responsible to put that safely on the roadway. Don't you agree, David?
Absolutely. I mean, it should happen. Morally, I think it should happen. In reality, a trucking school could be at fault for what they teach or don't teach a driver. The
Mhm.
problem that you have is the law is very specific about who can sue whom. And so there's two ways to do it. You either have to have privity of contract, which means that you contracted with someone, and then there's some leeway if you received the benefit of the contract. But then the other thing is that duty. Every negligence case starts with a duty. And plaintiffs attorneys like us, we sue all the time because the 18-wheeler has a duty to for this, to ensure the safety of other people in the road. It's a little bit harder the further you get away. So it's a driving school. Well, we don't have a contract with them, so we're not in privity, right? And then there's duty. You have to argue, well, does the driving school have a duty to the general public or only to the people that they are teaching? So yes, while we agree, we have to operate within the bounds of the law, but who knows? I mean,
There
law.
could be some facts that come to light that allow the duty and the foreseeable injury to line up, which would allow us to maybe break that. Right now, it is not happening. There's no facts that I've seen at this point that I could get there, but you never ever know. If we get the right facts, you bet we're going to include them in our litigation.
And Kirsten's right. Law develops. It's a developing industry, and the person you cannot sue today sometimes becomes the person you can sue tomorrow.
That's a great way to put it. From a layperson here, in a roundabout way, if you're, let's say, in the course of the trial, uh, if the proverbial window is open to go after that school, is that how that happens? If like a window is open, so to speak?
It would be open way before trial. So as we do what's called discovery, which is a series of exchange of information between whoever we are suing in the moment. If the information that comes through that discovery gives us an avenue to open that window and add that trucking school as a defendant, something that really correlates to the harm that was caused, to the lack of teaching that didn't happen, and we could do it, we would learn that pre-trial, and then we could add them as a defendant in our litigation. But I will tell you, hire a lawyer that doesn't quit, because you can go, and we do have the rules to support getting what we need to protect
Mhm.
our clients. But it's daunting. These big corporations have big, high-priced lawyers, and they do every trick. Don't you think, David? Every single trick known to man to not give us what we need to protect our sweet little clients. So you got to hire a lawyer. You cannot do this on your own.
Well, it, unfortunately, it's not good news. Virtually every legislative session in Texas, I believe that's every 2 years, they
Mhm.
strike at a plaintiff's attorney's ability to for justice. I was reading this article or this outline, and I was looking at justice. And justice for us is making someone pay. That's called damages. And we have to prove the damages. And, damage caps are a real thing. And that's where the legislature, and that's the people that we elect in and down in Austin,
Mhm.
are saying, well, in this type of situation, you can only get 2 times your economic damages. What are economic damages? Out of pocket money, right?
Mhm.
That's different than pain and suffering. So they're putting caps on the amount of money, and unfortunately, that's what grabs the attention of companies, including 18-wheelers, is how much money are they losing for doing bad stuff? Okay, so if you're putting caps on the damages, that's not helping the person who's hurt. That's
Right.
helping the companies. The opposite of that is where the companies say, well, we go bankrupt. They're not going bankrupt. Yeah. Their
Right.
insurance, because their insurance typically covers this, right? So it's the insurance lobby that argues for the damage cap. So you ask, is there anything? It's not good. It's never good. I mean, the last it was a legislative session probably about 10, maybe 20 years ago. There's something called the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act, and
Mhm.
I'll explain it very quickly, assignable. That means that if I bought a product and it blew up, but for some reason, health wise, I couldn't handle it, I could assign it to someone else. I could say, this is my cause of action, but I'm giving it to you so you can hold this company responsible. Probably about 20 years ago, that was cut. So the person who is injured by a product now can sue the company. So these things happen, I don't want to say in secret, but they're certainly not handled in a way that people understand that every legislative session, our job becomes more difficult.
I totally 150% blame the lobbyists for this. These lobbyists that they're employing, where they can just go out and wine and dine these legislators, and it seems that they always get their way legislatively. But I think that needs to change. And the only way I think you can effect change is through education and hard knocks for some of these people, right? Because it's we talked about this earlier. Everyone has an idea of what justice looks like, and everyone's opinion on what justice looks like is totally different. Uh, and that was kind of what my segue into my next question was going to be. What is it? What does justice actually look like for y'all's clients?
Well, I think justice for us looks like getting them a fair recovery that puts them as much as possible back into the position they were
Mhm.
pre-injury.
Mhm.
It's hard to do. I have to say it is very hard to do because we are up against, as you said, giants. They do
Mhm.
have massive legal teams. Hard to do, but not impossible. And with the laws, we still are lucky to be in a country where the laws are applied for the most part equally. Sometimes it's a little hard to get them actually applied, but you can do it. So we have the ability in this country to get justice for our clients, which, as I said, means putting them back as much as we can in the position they were pre-injury. Don't you think so?
Absolutely. Um, Justice, I looked it up when you saw that. I was thinking, well, what is it? It says just behavior or treatment. I hate it when the definition has the word in it, right? Um, and that's different for everyone, depending on the situation. But for Kirsten and I, justice is it's a complicated term because sometimes even if we get our client the most that they can get under the law, under the rules, it's not enough for the client, right? The majority of time we're getting enough money for the client and they're very satisfied. And you can look at our reviews 'cause we're we're a tough team.
Hmm.
uh and people in the legal industry know that. We don't
Hmm.
we're just not a team that you're going to be able to bully or get past. And we pride ourselves in that. And Kirsten has told me, and one of the reasons I agreed to be her partner was that she wanted every single document that comes out of this firm to be the best and to be um grammatically correct is just the beginning, right? It
I
has to
love it.
be legally inventive. And so that is one of the steps that we take in making sure that we get our clients. And this is why a lot of attorneys do say this, we get you the best recovery that you can get because we are limited by the laws, right? So what you want in us is an attorney who knows the laws because I think that we get a lot of justice for our clients, and if not, we can get you the closest possible.
Well, if we say, this is our foundational principle in this country is all men are created equal, right?
Right.
And that we have really moved away from that because now we have huge corporations and us, the little guys. So just as, yes, as I said, putting them back where they were, but making sure they have the right to even get back to where they were. All men are created equal. Every single law in this country applies to each and every one of us. And it's really important to remember that no corporation should have better abilities just because they can afford better representation, which sometimes is happening. Not with us,
And
but
like to segue into something that's on the horizon right now, not even on the horizon, it's happening, and it's the institution of AI in the legal process, whether it's someone using AI on their own who's not a lawyer or an attorney using AI. Those are not the same things. An attorney utilizing AI to make things quicker and to get to the final product faster is not the same as someone who doesn't know the law, doesn't know the legal process, doesn't know the personality of the judge, and doesn't know something that I think Kirsten and I really are very good at, and it's just legal strategy. AI doesn't give you that, right? AI will not tell you, should we do this? Because that personality of that judge and that attorney is not doing his work right now, and that judge doesn't like the judge doesn't like me, the judge doesn't like our
Yeah.
emotions. There's all of these nuances
Hmm.
that AI doesn't know. And that's something we're talking about 30 years and 32 years. Yes, I'm older. Uh,
Right.
of experience. And if we don't know the judge, we can find out about the judge. We would like to think that all judges, and I love judges. I don't want to be on, I don't want to be recorded saying I don't. And the vast majority of judges make the right decision. They're very professional, but we're human and everybody has an experience with a judge. That is not an AI. That's just something that we can do based on our experience.
AI is merely a tool like spell check. So
Hmm.
you
Right.
it is merely a tool. But I think for us as injury lawyers, the most critical thing about AI, what it cannot do is explain the pain, the suffering, the anguish, the
Right.
true experiences that these clients have gone through as a result of somebody else's negligence. And that is our job as your advocate, to do that. And no, AI is never going to get there. You have to, we have years of experience, so we understand a little bit, but every single client is unique and different.
Sure.
And I mean, yesterday I was speaking to a client and he had us all in tears, a client that you would have never expected to have had these experiences. AI could have never elicited those experiences. And then I will now take those and be able to present those to a jury of his peers. And
Right.
God willing, he'll be compensated appropriately for what he's been through. So AI,
Well,
yes, it's a tool. Yes, it's great, but it is, be very, very careful with it when you are dealing with serious, serious injury cases.
100%. And one thing I've always said, it will always give you confirmation bias. And I think that that is a just something to always be aware of, right? But also, just kind of going along with what y'all have already said, AI will never know what it feels like to love. Uh, AI will never know what it feels like to be hurt, right? I don't even think if someone's being disingenuous, it would be able to know. Because I've always thought, and I pretty much have a list, but whereas AI used to be number 36 on the list of things to worry about, it's now become like one or two on the
Yes,
list.
absolutely.
And I think that it would never ever uh, replace 12 men and women on a jury. I don't think it for sure will never replace a lawyer. Uh, Judges, I don't know. You know that it's up for debate.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
I,
I'm in the
I
court.
we cannot agree with
We
that.
cannot agree with you.
uh, but
We do not.
but
Judges are great.
and I hope the world of paralegals and legal assistants don't wind up hating me. But I'm just saying this is where this thing is going. Uh, Court reporters, I think it may be able to do that in the future,
I
even
do.
though I know a lot of great court reporters.
You know, I here's the take. AI is a tool, as I said, and what it does do is challenge a person who's already really engaged in the facts and the case law and your case to think broader. So, often it's wrong, it hallucinates, but it challenges you to do greater and better work. So that's its benefit. Its detriment is that it breeds a confidence that is not founded on anything that's real. And that is very, very, very frightening. So good and bad, it needs to be kept in the box that's appropriate for its use, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I think one of the most important things is strategy. Just because you can assert a cause of action at a certain time doesn't mean you do it. A lot of times, what Kirsten and I are talking about, and I'm asking her, is, well, do we want to do that now? It's a valid cause of action. It's a valid thing to argue, but should we hold off because we've got two or three other motions to be heard? And at what do we want to have one decision by a judge before we get to that decision, and then we'll assert this argument? That is something I've never seen from AI.
No,
Okay. And that's something that it involves an understanding of the law, an understanding of the opposing counsel's personality, and an understanding
Experience.
of the judge's personality.
and an understanding of your client and what your client's real goals are. Sometimes it's not always just get me a bunch of money. There are nuances to the representation of what your client really wants you to do for them. And AI is never going to get that nuance. They're going to get, here's what you do based on all the things that have been done before. So the creative aspects to protect your client is not going to come from AI. That's going to come from a real person.
And it's because of y'all's experience where that strategy is developed, uh, and deciding whether to go for the jugular so soon. You might just want to hold off, right, until you enter these other motions and see where that goes.
Agreed. Agreed. But with a huge danger sign over it
Oh
because
yeah,
of its hallucinations. I loved
Right.
it, and now I think I wanna divorce it because sometimes it's wrong. We
There's a
got married,
there's a
but now we're
billboard for you
divorced.
right there. That's a billboard slogan.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm divorcing AI.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely not the AI firm,
No.
but we have used it in order to get us from A to B. But along that route is a lot of policing and a lot of strategy, a lot of
Yeah.
experience. And, the way we're set up here, there is absolutely no way we would ever, a case would ever be
Is
included in
that
a.
Boots?
That's not Boots. Boots
Oh,
is over here being good.
that's Asia.
That's
That's my Asia.
Oh, okay.
we
She's keeping us safe from all the other PI lawyers in the city.
A
Uh,
and, they say timing's everything, but literally my next question is this, and this is no reflection on your dog at all, but every case has fleas, right? It just depends on how infested is this dog, right? Is the case still a dog, or has it become this one giant flea? But where do you ho and I guess this is where strategy would come in. Where do you decide between you and David, "Hey, this really has a lot of fleas." Do you still take it, or do you say, "Hey, you know what? We'd love to help you, but, uh, this is not a dog anymore."
mm,
for me, I if the client is legitimate
that's right.
and honest and truly hurt, and I can make a claim for them in the law, I don't care about the fleas. Everybody has a past. Everybody something's no case is perfect. I don't
Right,
care what happens. So those
right.
things, I'm not going to judge my client because of something that maybe they did in the past that's considered a flea. I don't know how you feel about it, but my job is to, as we've said earlier, to get justice and recognize that every one of us is created equal and every one of us has a right under the law if they are injured to a recovery. I don't care about the
100%, 100%.
and I guess the underlining, if they're honest, if the client is a truly legitimate person, I'm gonna work for them.
I have a question for both of y'all. So, 2 different scenarios. Would either of you rather have a likable client with horrible, and I'm talking just horrible facts? And I'm kind of, in a way, bringing the jury into this because you're going to have your client in front of these 12 men and women, right? So that's the first scenario. Second one, you just have a totally unlikable guy, but with excellent facts.
And when so
Which do you
sir,
want?
as a clarification, the facts mean that I've got solid, clear liability, no issues? Is that when
Yeah,
you say
you
oh,
you
that
got you essentially have the perfect case with this guy, but he is just a gosh, really hard to like, and that jury may pick up on that. So, in essence, my question would be: lovable, great, likable guy, client or gal, horrible facts, horrible individual, excellent facts.
I don't care because I think that either client everybody has something special about them, so it's important for us to show that jury what that special is. That's how I feel about it. So I don't
Mhm.
care. Either one, I'll take either one, and it's my job to make sure that I create what the jury needs to understand about that client. I bring it out in him and or her and allow them to be able to be heard. So likable, unlikable, everybody's truly likable. Everybody has something good about them to share. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hypothetical that's difficult because let's say hypothetically the likability is just as bad as the law at the other side. Hypothetically, you'd get the same result because the jury is going to grade you down on personality or the
Right.
jury grade you down because of the law. So hypothetically, all things being equal, that's the same thing, right? So we don't. I mean, Kirsten and I have a lot of clients. We don't. spend a whole lot of time on, you know, uh, I think we know instinctively when we need to work with a plaintiff. Okay. Because,
Mhm.
uh,
That's a
the,
great way to put it. That's a
well, there's,
great way to put it.
I'm either going before a deposition, I either meet with my client 2 times. I've met as many as 5 times with them
Mhm,
to
mhm.
get them used to the questions. And if you have someone who flies off the handle very easily, we've got to meet with them to say, this is not the time. You're not going to win the case today. You're just here to answer the questions they ask you and nothing more. It's not just about likability. Some people are blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
I'm like, they literally asked you, "How far from the light were you when you first saw it?" And they go, and, the great client is, "Oh, I would probably say about 30, 40, you know 40 feet, 100 feet, something like that." Um, but another client may say, well, I travel down that road about, twice a day for the last 40 years, and they plant these trees, and I know the gardener, and that gardener
yeah.
planted those trees every 10 feet, and I think there were 5 trees, and so therefore it was 50 feet. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. Let's let's back up and let's get
Mhm.
to the answer quick, because now you've given the defense counsel all this information. Also, you've been through
Yeah.
this intersection before. It's not new to you. You never know what you're giving up. So it's not really always about likability. It's about personality.
And it was more of a hypothetical for y'all, but more so for when you're having to deal with the jury. So, I mean, I get it. It's hard. Y'all have thousands of clients that, it's no one's no one's perfect, right? Except our good Lord. Uh, but I yeah, it was just an interesting way to look at it. You have, basically a perfect case here, and then you have a horrible case here that you gotta basically just fight for, on both ends. So what is the speaking of cases, uh, for each of you, I'll start with you, Kirsten. What's that one case that really changed everything for you? I know there's a lot.
You know the one I'm gonna say.
The bear?
No, years ago, I had a case. I don't know if I can tell it without tearing up. I had a case where a bus, you know the case, bus was traveling down to Mexico and over Christmas break. It was one of those tourista buses, and
Mhm.
the driver was on methamphetamine. It was a
Oh
rainy
wow.
day, just like today, super, super cold, and the driver flipped the bus. It was filled with people that were undocumented, and this was Christmas, I believe it was Christmas Eve. Get a call at, oh my goodness, it was midnight from one of my paralegals, and he says, "We've gotten this call." We were on the back cover of the phone book at the time. That was years ago. This is how this case
Yeah.
changed my life.
Yeah.
So we go there. It's raining, cops everywhere. They've pushed all these people into a hotel, and they're telling them that they're illegals, and the insurance company is already there signing and they're very, very hurt, signing releases for 500. So the family that had called me, I met with them, but we can't find their son. Their son, we've got the daughter, she's in the EMS in the hospital, but we can't find their son. Ugh, I don't know if I can tell you this. As the son turns out being crushed under the bus. He's only 11. We get his
Mm.
wallet, and it says his New Year's resolutions, which are to be the first. Oh my God, I'm not sure I can get through this. To be the first kid in his family to go to college and take care of his parents.
Wow.
And it affected me. That's 20 years ago this happened. But I remember then, so we moved the case, and I remember, having to explain to the mother that all I could do was give her money, and she just couldn't quite understand that. But the way the insurance company behaved on that case made me think I will never do anything but plaintiff's work and protect these people. And that case, to this day, I see that little boy, I see that note and that handwritten, it was
Yeah.
on a yellow piece of paper and had been folded and unfolded and folded and folded. That case changed the trajectory of my life. And that's why I do what we do. Sorry, that was probably a little more information than
No,
you
no
wanted to know, but
apologies, no apologies. God
it's
bless you for that, and that would, yeah, that was heartbreaking to hear, and gosh,
heartbreaking. Just wrong on so many levels when we go back to justice, that everybody's created equal. And here this company was already just shipping these poor people that were hurt and scared back to Mexico with $500 with a threat. How unacceptable is that? It was
that truly explains why people hate insurance companies so much, because of despicable acts like that.
You know, uh, I hate to be mousy on this. I've handled a lot of cases, and I can say not everyone, every single case, but the bigger ones all affect you because there's something about the one that strikes out in recent times, right? Because I've tried cases early in my career when I lived in Dallas. The one that strikes me was a rather simple case, and it was a man who was rear-ended. I tried that case here in San Antonio in front of Judge Nellermo, who I know she's retired. I don't. I know she's not practicing anymore. Um, and it was just the devastation that a simple little rear-end collision could have on on the father. So he was a construction worker, the only person who worked in the family. And so when he got hit, he had to have two neck surgeries and a low back surgery. And it was a commercial case. It was a commercial vehicle that hit him. And the it just changed their whole lives because he could not work anymore. It was just done. So his wife, who stayed home with two kids, now had to support the family by cleaning homes and doing whatever she could. She didn't have an education. These are the cases, and luckily, I was able to get him a big verdict. How they use the money, I don't know, but at least it was enough money to buy a house and not have a car payment and things like that, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so it's not so much about, my heart breaking. It's broken a lot of times. It is really the ones that stick out for me is where I actually made a difference. And in that case, had a great jury, had a great experience. Uh, Defense counsel didn't have much of a defense. I'm not even sure why they just didn't pay up and took me to
Mhm.
trial. Although I know, they
They
put
didn't see you coming, David.
they put you to the test. And that's an interesting thing. I don't mean to segue out of this. I think it's an important question, but if they want to put Kirsten and I to the test, we welcome it.
Do
We're
it.
not afraid. If you want to take us to trial, eh, more power to you. We are not a settlement firm. We're not going to settle for
Right.
something that we don't think the case is worth. Although every settlement is financial, analysis. Um, so you love how I segued there from, oh, how so
I
sorry.
love
You're
that.
tough. We're not afraid
AI
of you.
do that.
because I'm so wussy. I cry through them all because they just break your heart, every single one.
I haven't cried since 1996 when I got a bad haircut. So
Oh, come on.
it didn't look like this
What hair?
last.
Hey, look at the
I
host.
mean,
Yeah, at least you are good
I was going to leave it right there, but you said it. I did.
All right. So years from now, for you, Kirsten and David, when someone hears the name Carabin Law, uh, and your names individually, David A. TIJERINA as well, what do you hope they're going to remember most about y'all? Is it going to be the verdicts, the settlements, or truly made up of people who you 100%, as y'all have again eloquently described, the lives that you have changed in this whole process?
But I hope that that they remember that we were kind. I
Mhm,
know we are competent, but when we work down the road and you think of the tragedies that we walk people through the best that we
mhm.
can, that we were kind and compassionate in doing that. I know that they will be happy as best that we can take care of them from our success rate. But if I wanted to be remembered, it would to be kind. What do you think?
Yeah, we don't phone it in here. We're not like, well, I've got a hearing in the morning and oh, I've done it a million times. No, 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 no. That doesn't fly here. Can I handle the hearing on the fly? Absolutely. But I don't. And Kirsten would not stand for that. And she would never do that. It's we prepare for every hearing. We are not attorneys who are on automatic.
Mhm.
We can be. And if that's the way other attorneys want to handle their practice, that's their business. We don't do that here. Every case, every hearing is thought of. We've thought about it. What do we want? Even if it's a more mundane hearing, we think about it. Well, what can we say that's going to give us an advantage? Sometimes it's just being really, really prepared and in some way sending a message to opposing counsel. This is not going to be easy for you.
Right.
Um, and we're not a shake hands, good old boy firm. Okay. We don't make back deals. I'm not criticizing anybody else or accusing them. But what I'm saying is that we're not making deals with other attorneys on whether it's to uh, be together on a case and handle it together. We're not doing that. We're not on the golf course making deals. We are an old fashioned take it to you law firm. And
Mhm.
any firm that comes against us is going to realize that. And it's already happened. It's already happened. We all,
Mhm.
I think we have a good reputation. We're never nasty, but it's not going to pay to be nasty to us.
Right.
Yeah.
The word is out already. Don't mess with y'all.
Well, we're a woman and a man.
Yeah. And a little man, because I'm like this, right?
No, you're a giant.
And you are
You're
our
a
good
giant.
protector.
You're a giant. Hey, that's one of the things that I think most what you were just saying, David. I think that's the message that y'all have worked on really hard through your hard work and advocacy. I think that's what's resonating with people, and that's why you have so many people calling you for help. So the proof is in the proverbial pudding, as they say. Tell folks again, and we're gonna put it everywhere as well on our boards. But tell folks if they ever find themselves in need of legal expertise from you, and are you 24/7, and can they expect a call back soon?
The phone's answered 24/7 live with one of our girls. 100%, not an answering service. You
Mhm,
even could get David and I because we have to go on phone rotation
mhm,
as
mhm,
well. So we are here all the time, and we hope that we will be called and we will be here to help because
mhm.
our every case matters and every client
That's
can.
right.
And that's the mantra that we run this firm by.
Yeah,
And it's
we
important.
have been on the scene of an incident at various hours.
Yeah.
And
Because it's
that's
important.
and that's advocacy.
That's right. We gotta protect our clients, and that's really our
That's
number
right.
one goal.
Well, Kirsten, David, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedules, the both of y'all's. Thank you. We're honored to always have you on. The focus groups have spoken. They love it every time I have y'all on. They can't get enough. And
Thank you
that's
so
a
much.
true testament to y'all's kindness. And as we all know, it costs nothing to be kind to people. And y'all exude that with all of your clients in the way you interact with people, period. So God bless y'all. Thank you again for joining us. We're going to say goodbye to the audience right now, and I'll be right back with y'all.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kirsten Carabin and the great David A. TIJERINA, just great advocates. They are the real deal, folks. There's a lot of doom and gloom going on in the world out there today. So do yourselves a favor. Get out there and love somebody today. I will see y'all up the road. I love y'all. I will forever. Bye.